Welcome, welcome. This is I believe this is the ESEA finals, is it not, Laser?
It sure is, Gwen.
And right now we have Complexity's Rise versus CheckSix's Shadow. Both of these teams made it to the finals of the ESEA. You know, one of those team leagues that everyone's been talking about. And I believe CheckSix rolled through that league undefeated. Am I correct in that?
That's something I don't know. I've been following so many different things that they've been doing that I can't keep up with all the standings. They play in so many different leagues and so many different mini tournaments.
But we will be seeing a little bit of Protoss versus Zerg action here, and this is the map GSL Crevasse, a absolutely ginormous map. You have this very quick third with the single gas, and they did add those rocks, so it's a little bit more accessible, but it looks like Shadow going to be going for a Forge Fast Expand. And if we look at the placement here, you know, you can see that actually this this pylon placement will be able to protect his main, his natural, and his third if he does a wall off there.
This placement's really good for Protoss. Like you said, it's going to block off the 3 expansions. The problem is, if you do it against a Zerg player, you're basically letting the Zerg player do the same amount of expand with less defense needed. They don't have to worry about connecting creep because they're knowing that the Protoss is going to go something big late. They can save a lot of gas early. They don't necessarily have to even get speed because they know you're just going to play crazy defense, and they can go straight heavy units themselves at the end, like right fast mutas, something crazy like that. So you do have to put in some type of like aggression. He can't just wall this off and then sit in the back and mine from 3 bases and go, okay, that's it, I'm going to get Void Rays and hope I win, because that's not going to work.
Certainly.
You know?
I mean, you know, and we do actually see, you know, Ryze here opting for a gas pool build. You know, this is the type of build, or I'm sorry, a pool gas build. This type of build will allow you to get speed out quickly to deal with any, maybe cannon shenanigans that Shadow might throw up, but it doesn't look like Shadow is going to opt for that, pulling that probe back. And like you said, though, it is fairly common, and I guess if I had been playing the Zerg in this, I probably would have attempted to go hatch first or done like an 11 pool, 18 hatch build into a double expand off of that before gas. So you go 4 hatch before gas. It's a build popularized by Nestea and by Rhett, actually. Rhett went 5 hatch before gas in the BattleNet Invitational. I don't know if you saw any of those games.
What I do see is this drone over here getting some primo scouting. He already sees that the wall's coming with a cannon, so he already knows that those 4 Zerglings are enough. He doesn't need to do just about anything else on the production side for an army, and we're probably just going to see a lot of expanding out of both players now.
It's definitely correct. I mean, we pulled his guys off gas. Going ahead, gonna get Zergling speed, only got enough gas for that, and now it should just go into heavy macro mode. He's got those 4-lings, like you mentioned, poaching out on the map. They'll probably take out this probe at the Zelnaga, but this wall should be complete as soon as the probe throws down a cybernetics core, and with that 1 cannon there, Shadow is going to be pretty safe to just take his third.
Yeah, he can do that if he opts to. I mean, as a Protoss, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like if I want to go a little early on the aggression, a third is maybe something not really needed. You can do a lot off of 2 bases as Protoss. You can do a hell of a lot, you know? Like, if I was on the Zerg position, I would definitely be getting the third. It's not so much the extra mineral, it's more so the extra gas, even though it's not a rich Vespian geyser, just a regular one, and the extra larva. So, more important that the Zerg gets a third to defend against any type of harassment or play from the Protoss, but we'll have to see what they choose to do.
I definitely agree with the sentiments taking early third as Zerg. You know, in a situation like this, I would probably double expand off these 2 bases before getting any more gas at all, and get up to 4 bases before I went back to a unit pump. But it looks like we see Warp Gate being researched, a Stalker being chronoed out, probably going to try and take out that Overlord that's scouting the main, and a Stargate going down. So, you know, like you said, there are a few openings you can do as a Protoss player after Fast Expand. A favorite of mine is Dark Templar play, but it looks like Shadow going for the Stargate, also a great opening. The Stargate kind of proofs you against a lot of Roachling all-in shenanigans. Getting the Void Rays out really will shut down any Roach aggression from the Zerg player until later in the game, and Hydra's so slow off creep make them really not viable to deal with that, especially if you're using that Void Ray for defense.
Oh yeah, definitely, and even if you don't go Void Ray first, like, it depends what he's going to do when this pops. Even if he just goes Hydra now, just to keep the Overlord count low, especially when the Zerg is going to be expanding like this. Not being able to produce drones when you're going for a macro-heavy type of play, just once you're at the point where you're food capped and you can't make drones, and then you can't make units because you put all your money into this macro type, you're pretty much like out of the game. You know what I mean? Like, if you're food capped at 60 and it's all drones on 2.5 bases, 3 bases, and now you can't make units and you can't make more drones, you can't make anything, what are you gonna do?
Exactly. You definitely are in trouble. It looks like Ryze throwing down the Roach Horn and the first Evo Chamber. This is a pretty good timing to throw down the Evo Chamber, you know, off that Forge Fast Expand. This will allow him to get spores up in time for that first Void Ray. If he had sent just the single Void Ray, the Queen would spar with a little bit and the spores would go down. But it looks like Shadow opting to get a second Void Ray and then throwing down a Robotics. So whether this Robotics is indicative of a Colossus tech switch, or whether he's just going to go for a you know, a Observer for a little bit of sight and then go with a more gateway heavy style, we'll have to see. But chronoing out those first 2 Void Rays, I'm wondering if his next another Void Ray, so 3 Void Rays coming out. That's a little bit high on the Void Ray count. You usually see, you know, 1 Void Ray and a couple Phoenixes to lift Queens, but this is a pretty heavy commitment to air.
Actually, what this could be is what you said earlier. This could be some type of tech swap play. Because I don't see any more gateways coming down, and if I was in Shadow's position, usually you can do your options as Protoss. Usually is like, if you're on 2 base, it's either 8 gate, kind of like all in heavy, or 6 gate with upgrades like Blink Charge and a Forge upgrade, or 6 gate with some type of units from one other type of structure. But now that he's getting so many air units and he's already got this robotics facility down, I'm thinking what this is going to be is a check it out, I'm gonna go mass Void Ray, and it's gonna put Ryze in that situation where he's like, the only response is, oh shit, I need Hydra. And as soon as he sees the Void Rays, that's it. Then we're gonna see Colossus. And look, here it comes. Here comes extra gateways and the Robo Bay. So what he's gonna do now is it's gonna be Colossus, and the gateways should be all Zealots. I
don't know, it looks like Ryze might be okay against this Void Ray poke, though. I mean, 3 Void Rays, there are 2 Spores about to finish, and 4 Queens. 4 Queens definitely is going to beat 3 Void Rays. And those Spores have finished, so that's going to shut down a lot of that Void Ray aggression. And I feel like this is the kind of thing, and oh, look at this move from Ryze. This is so smart. Pushing out with Roach Ling, that's going to force those units to come back to the front to defend. And this is something that you'll see a lot of good Zerg players do. They'll be under fire from an air unit that they can't really deal with, and so what is their response? Just attack the front, because attacking the front forces those air units back, because the Zerg ground units at this stage in the game are actually pretty powerful.
No, you're right. I like the force fields over here. Force fields are more so to keep the roaches away from the Forge here. Forge, obviously, the target you want to go for. A couple of the roaches getting picked off by the Void Rays, not too major, but you always want to go for the Forge. It stops any type of cannon production, it stops any upgrades that are being produced, and also it is the lowest HP and armored building out of the trio that's usually used in the wall off. Yeah.
You know, I like what Ryze has done here as well. You know, he's committed to Spore Crawlers, and I think that's a better move than Hydrals, and he's gone ahead and gotten a Spire. And I don't think the Spire obviously is going to be used for a lot of Mutalisks. I think it's going to be Corruptors, and yes, it is Corruptors. We have 11 Corruptors on the way, which of course are going to be great against that Colossus, which is coming out right now with Thermal Lance following it up.
No, that's good. This is a good counter by Ryze. Always kind of weird when you say the other team's doing something really good, but you can't deny it. Ryze actually defended really well against the Void Ray push by attacking into the wall, and he forced a lot of gas to be used to make more sentries. So, you know, that's going to stop any type of heavy, like more Void Rays or Colossus coming out. He's stacking an Overlord over here now to get some vision, but it's denied. But overall he's doing really well. The Corruptors are going to be great against the Colossus. Even in this amount of numbers, the Corruptors will obviously take out the Void Rays and the Phoenix. And here they come.
Those Corruptors taking out that Phoenix quickly. You know, we did force the cancel on that 4th base for Ryze. Looks like Ryze, though, just reacting by building a lot of roaches, which are going to eat up that mineral excess he had. I see a fleet beacon down. Are we perhaps going to see a mothership or some carriers in this game? That would be amazing.
Would be crazy. I think it's kind of weird to say it, but I feel like it's too early to do either of those, because there's too many Corruptors and there's too many roaches, and to start making those now, you invest so much mineral that he has to spend on an army to defend this before he can commit to that type of stuff, and he's going to lose this forge.
He is losing the forge, and that is a pretty big blow as he doesn't. And look at this, he could lose the cyber core if he's not careful. And it looks like the core is going to go down. That is a huge blow because you cannot make stalkers, and with that kind of corruptor count, you really have to be making stalkers to keep up. We do see another void ray out, another Colossus in production, but I really feel like Shadow should cut that Colossus production if he's going to hold this. And Ryze attacking in those corruptors, doing so much damage, but forced to pull back with some good force fields by Shadow.
Yeah, I think Ryze is in a really, really bad situation right now because he can't make stalkers and Blink's about to finish. He can't make stalkers, and Blink stalkers are kind of what the counter would be to this type of army. You know, good Blink play will stop the Roach Corruptor, and his only options are either make more air units, which are going to get stomped by these corruptors, or make Colossus, which get stomped by corruptors. So he's in a tough spot.
Certainly is, but with some good force fields, he's doing a lot, actually picking off small bits of Ryze's army, and Ryze seems to be following it up with just more Roach Corruptor, and I'm not sure if that's the unit composition you want to stay with. With a couple Colossus out, and it looks like he's not focusing those Colossus down. So much damage is being dealt to this Zerg army. I think Shadow is going to hold just fine.
Yeah, it looks like Shadow is going to hold fine, but I don't understand how, you know, he didn't lose. He only had like 2 Colossus. I don't know how they didn't just get annihilated instantly. You know, it's not like Shadow had a lot of AA to deal with them at the time. He had no Cyber Core. I think maybe that was mis-targeting on Ryze's part, which
I certainly think so.
I feel bad saying, because Ryze, I thought, was actually going to take Shadow out right there.
Oh yeah, Ryze was in a fantastic position, and
yeah.
And he seems to have lost it. But look, pulling back a second Colossus coming out, and I see a carrier on the way. That fleet beacon finally being put to use. A carrier and then a void ray. I'm wondering if that carrier was a misclick, or if he did intend to make it. If he did, you know, Shadow is probably my new hero.
It could be just to, he could be thinking, okay, well, Ryze isn't single targeting with the corruptors, which he isn't, and I'm not trying to say it in a rude way, but he isn't. He could have taken the 2 Colossus out really quick and basically won that entire fight, but he's not single targeting with the corruptors, so maybe he's getting the 1 carrier so that the corruptors will automatically target the little spaceships that come out, you know?
Perhaps, but the carrier is about to finish. We see air weapons on the way as well. If you're sticking with a void ray or a carrier composition, air weapons is a great choice because, you know, carriers are actually one of the highest DPS units in the game, and when you upgrade the air weapons, I mean, that is huge damage increase for those interceptor. We do see interceptors now being trained, and a carrier is out on the field, and there aren't that many corruptors.
No. Not many right now, but right now the corruptor does not have the, I mean, the carrier doesn't have the air upgrade yet, but still it's 5 damage per interceptor, and they fire twice, so
looks like we are seeing an engagement here, and an amazing blink back by those stalkers after the force fields went down. Another Colossus in, and it looks like this carrier is just sitting here wailing away at these, and look at these cannons from the side helping out. More zealots being warped in. Roaches are just so tenacious in this situation. He needs to blink back with those stalkers again, and he finally does. And cleaning up that Zerg assault is Shadow. I would say Shadow has turned this game around and is now in a lead.
Yeah, I don't think he has the army to get really aggressive yet, considering it's like, how many bases does Ryze has? He has 4 bases, but he's got 6 hatches.
Ryze is on 4 bases, but you know, 6 hatches on 4 bases, that's very it's very all-in of a Zerg to do. I mean, usually you want your extra hatches at more bases. If we look at his 4th, he doesn't have it saturated at all. He's only mining out of 1 of the gases on that hatch, so he's really only on 6 gas at this point, which as a Zerg player is really not that much. I'm
just saying, I didn't think, you know, Shadow should. I don't think Shadow should like run across the map instantly when he won that little engagement, because Ryze could easily, I mean, get right back up to max with that much larva just sitting around. So it was good for him to win that fight, and now I like what Shadow's doing, which is like, Shadow knows that he was behind at the beginning of the game. I mean, as a pro player, you just know when he lost his wall, he knew he was in trouble.
Certainly.
But I like what he's doing now. He won the engagement. He's just playing some D. He's got good cannon placement over here at this 4th, and he's going to saturate. And he's just going to sit here, and he's going to mine up, and he's going to get back into the game. You know, he's going to crawl back up into the lead.
I think the other thing that I absolutely love that's happening right now is there are 2 warp prisms out on the field and a dark shrine in production. We see those warp prisms moving to opposite sides of the map, and I really feel like the warp prism, I mean, obviously in this next patch that's coming up, it's getting buffed, but I feel like the warp prism is underused even in its current state, and seeing a you know, a pro player like this pull out double warp prism in the late game for harass against an almost max Zerg is amazingly good.
I was actually saying that for a very long time, that it's not even like the warp prism's underused. I just think people don't even know how to deal with it, like, because no one uses it. I mean, if you're like a really good Protoss player, and I feel like there's certain people who could probably make it like big on the pro scene just by warp prism play, because no one does anything with it. It'd be like having to deal with Protoss units running around the medevac. You know what I mean? Like,
look at this. We see 6 zealots warped in at you know, at the third of Ryze. You know, thankfully for Ryze, this third is almost mined out. But I think the biggest thing with stuff like this, when we see 3 more zealots in the main targeting down that spire, I think the biggest thing with zealots is zealots are a unit which is not that effective against the Zerg arsenal. But in order to be, you know, I guess, in order to be cost effective against them as a Zerg, you need to micro your units. So you're taking your focus away from the main battle, away from other things, because you have to micro roaches. Otherwise, zealots are actually quite good against roaches when not microed.
Oh yeah, I think this is the best way to use them actually against in a PvZ, is to just use them as like a drop and just get in and take out what you can and just be annoying with them. You know, when I played Protoss in the ladder, it was actually one of the things I used to do a lot. I used to attack from one direction and have a pylon somewhere else, or a warp prism if I decided to go that direction, and I just dropped zealots into the mineral line. And if you lose them, you lose them. They're only minerals. I mean, here we are 23 plus minutes into the game, and I mean, if you're worried about just minerals, you know, you've already lost. So
hold on, we are going to have an engagement here. Some good force fields coming down, keeping a lot of those roaches from getting in the engagement. The Colossus and the, you know, Void Ray is doing pretty huge damage here. Roaches finally sneaking in, going to be able to, but I really feel like Shadow rather has held this, making a good blink with those stalkers, and there is a mothership on the way.
Ooh.
And the GG, we didn't get to see that mothership, but you know, what a game. You know, Ryze definitely in the lead initially, but lost it there with a couple bad engagements. And I really feel, like you said, that not focusing down those Colossus really cost him the game in that engagement.
Yeah, 11 Corruptors versus 2 Colossus, and it shows what happens when you don't prioritize your attack orders.
Certainly. And, you know, it would have been great to see a mothership out. Mothership, of course, takes 160 seconds, which in StarCraft terms is a lifetime to get out. And it was at 100 of 160, so someday we might have seen it, but not today. Maybe another game out of Shadow. With that, we're going to go ahead and bounce out of this game. This was Game 1 of the finals for the ESEA Team League.